There's the money shot.
Well, it's the next day on the wet coast and I am happy because not only is it not raining, but you can see the sun is out. Well, sun is out as much as it will be this time of the year. So I am tackling a job on the F150 that I've been putting off for a long time now. The transmission leaks, and I'm pretty certain that the oil leak is coming just from the transmission pan gasket. It's been like that since I ever got the truck, and all I've ever done is topped up the transmission fluid when it stopped going into gear. Sometimes it would do that after the truck had sat for a while. This indicates to me that it's not a problem, or probably isn't a problem, with the torque converter seal going into the transmission. So today I'm gonna pull the pan, replace the gasket, replace the dipstick gasket, and I'll show you what I got going on. A bit of safety first. If you guys and gals do this kind of work, wear some protective gear. The chemicals that are in transmission fluid and engine oil and a lot of other stuff that we come across when we're wrenching on our own cars, it's pretty nasty stuff. Gets into your skin, definitely not healthy for your liver, probably known carcinogens, and we know we get our daily recommended allowance of carcinogens through a lot of other stuff in our daily lives. So wear gloves, wear glasses, keep this stuff off your skin where you can. Anyways, let me show you what I got going on. So this is the transmission pan, and you can see it's wet from the automatic transmission fluid, in this case Dexron 3. That is probably leaking from this really old skanky gasket. So what I need to do is remove these 7/16 bolts that go around the perimeter of the oil pan to drain it. I need to do it in a way that I can try and control the flow, because either Ford hates me personally or they decided to save money on all the Fords, at least these trucks, and not put an oil drain plug in the transmission pan like they do there on the oil pan. So like I said, I gotta undo the bolts in a way where I can try and control the flow. I've got the truck up on wheel ramps to try and get a bit of an angle into that far corner here. See if I can show you that there. I'm gonna try and get the oil to drain into my drain pan there, and that's the corner I will probably install an actual drain plug in case I ever have to do this nastiness again. Anyways, I'm gonna get to it. Well, I was wrong. It's not a 7/16, it's a 1/2 inch. I'll be right back. If I had a workshop, I would have a lift in it, and I'd be able to do this stuff a lot easier. That's why I'm working towards a workshop. Wow, these are all pretty loose, so that would explain a lot. I usually tend to have Exxon Valdez levels of spills whenever I work around oil, so don't hate me. So I've run into an issue where the exhaust H pipe is too close to the transmission pan. I can't quite get it low enough to slip the pan out because it's hanging up on the transmission's valve body. I'm gonna undo the rear transmission mount and see if I can jack it up enough to get enough clearance. Well, I guess I'll just have to disconnect the exhaust to get this pan out. It's a rough looking gasket. Okay, so that worked. I had to disconnect the exhaust pipes from the headers and jack up the tail end of the transmission for me to get enough clearance to get the transmission pan out. I'll give you a quick tour of what I had to do. So I had to disconnect the header from the exhaust pipe there on both sides. And what are the odds I'm going to find replacement gaskets for this at Lordco? And I jacked up the tail end of the transmission with a 2-ton bottle jack after disconnecting the transmission mount from the cross member. And you can see the valve body dripping away. Doesn't look too bad. I'm going to clean up the oil pan a little bit and install the drain plugs so I don't have to go through this nightmare again if I want to change the fluids. So the transmission fluid has definitely seen better days. Some gunk on the bottom. I don't feel any metal pieces in there, which is good. Yeah, I think the transmission will be all right. Gonna clean this all out, get it ready to go back in. First, I'll give the pan a little bit of a cleaning before installing the new drain plug. I looked inside the transmission, looked at the valve body, and this area around here, this whole section right here has plenty of room. The valve body sits in around here. If I put the drain plug in one of these two corners, it's not going to interfere with anything underneath. So I'm going to start doing that now. The new drain plug, fairly decent packaging. The dipstick sleeve gasket. Kind of laughable. Figure that looks good right about there. I've got the right size hole drilled for the drain plug, and now I'm just going to clean up the sharp edges with a rat tail file. Well, that went pretty easy. I'm gonna wipe this pan out because, as you can tell, it started raining. Doesn't that come as a surprise? It's another day on the wet coast. I kind of ended everything abruptly last night. It started to get dark and I needed some header gaskets. So I ran down to my local Lordco today and picked those up. So now I'm going to get back to installing the transmission pan and hopefully get the transmission oil in and move it off the ramps I've got the truck parked on. The pan is on, and now to reconnect the exhaust with the new gaskets installed. It's actually kind of nice on the wet coast today. I'm just about to crawl under the old F150 and see if the transmission gasket is tight and if I have any leaks right now. I did run the truck a little bit yesterday, but sat overnight. Proof is in the pudding. Let's go have a look. Well, this makes me really happy. See, as dry as a bone. Not a drop of transmission fluid. I'm very happy with this. So the next thing I need to do is use the truck a little bit. If the seal to the torque converter is leaking in the transmission body, I'll need to address that. But I think that's got her. I'm very happy about this. So I'm super happy with the way the gasket replacement worked out. I'm not leaking any transmission fluid. Of course, I'll have to drive the truck around a little bit, put some load on it to make sure, but I'm pleased with the way that went. As always, thanks for watching.